I'm Audrey Bilger, president of Reed College, and I would apologize for this rain, but as I've been saying to everyone, we've been through worse, haven't we? Been through worse. So, okay, it's raining. Greetings, Reed alumni from the class of 2020. Greetings, friends, families, loved ones, faculty, staff, and community gathered here today to celebrate these remarkable 2020 graduates. This is a day we have longed for, the best do-over ever. Special thanks as we get started to the staff who worked tirelessly on the many details that have made this very special event possible. Let's hear it for our talented and caring Reed staff. In a well-known fairy tale, a baby is cursed by a wicked fairy who decrees that she will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die. A good fairy alters the curse to change the outcome to a deep sleep rather than death. And when the baby grows up and does indeed prick their finger and fall asleep, the entire castle is also put under a sleeping enchantment. I thought about this story and that sleep-cursed castle quite a bit in the spring and summer of 2020. It felt to me as if COVID-19 had cast an evil spell on our college and the world. This campus was nearly deserted for months. Some of us were, of course, still here to witness its emptiness. It was eerie and desolate. To go from being a college with 0 online courses prior to March 2020 to having all of our classes moved online was a cruel twist of fate. To be separated from one another and to shift our existence into square boxes on computer screens was unreal. We made a promise to this class that we get to keep today. I cannot say enough how much it means to me to be able to be here with you to congratulate you. I am grateful to you all for returning to Reed. As you know, the pandemic befell us 7 months into the academic year, your senior year, and my very first year here. We kept hoping we could do this sooner. None of us could have imagined how long it would take. I recognize that time, distance, losses, and triumphs have intervened since that March. None of us can turn back time. However, being here now is a big deal. Class of 2020, I know I speak for everyone in your lives when I say I'm incredibly proud of you. Our thoughts go out to those who could not be here today. It is truly miraculous that so many of you are. I've heard from some of you that you worried that this class might be forgotten. We have not forgotten you, and we never will. I hope you can pause today and feel pride in all that you've accomplished. Although the spell of the pandemic has not entirely been lifted, it is magical to be here together. Congratulations. Let's applaud the fierce, brilliant, amazing class of 2020.
I am honored to be part of this belated celebration to congratulate you on your accomplishments as Reed graduates and welcome you officially into the alumni community. I would have started this speech with, as president of the Reed College Alumni Association Board of Directors, but it's been 2 years. I think normally in these speeches, the Alumni Board president talks about the transition that graduates are about to make, leaving Reed community to embark on a new adventure. But you, class of 2020, had a different experience. I can't even begin to imagine what it must have been like to be sent away from campus without closure and navigate the rest of your senior year, while the world struggled with a pandemic that no one knew what to do with. Being a graduating senior has enough uncertainties without COVID-19, and I want to acknowledge that you have been through a lot. I hope that some things got a little easier along the way in the past 2 years. And even though it is 2 years later, I'm so grateful that we were able to gather today to celebrate you. When I was graduating from Reed, or even a couple years out, I didn't think that the Reed Alumni Network would help me advance my career, at least not in the same way that a school with more of a focus on vocational training might. I was proven wrong more than once. I've also had happy hours with Reedies in different cities. I've been hosted by Reedies, hosted Reedies myself, and even stumbled upon a much older Reedie at a company I worked at. Please know that you are part of a multi-generational community of alumni who are interested in building community with you. And I encourage you not only to stay in touch with the friends and family that you've already found, but also to reach out to alumni that you don't know yet. There are many ways to get in contact with the alumni community. You can meet new Reedies by attending reunions, alumni college, or even in chapter cities. Check out the chapter events to see if any interest you. You can also reach out to the chapter leadership if you have ideas for new events. If you're somewhere that's outside of the 11 chapter cities, but still want to connect with Reedies, use Iris to find Reedies in your area. You can use Iris also to search alumni by occupational field, major, and institutional affiliations, among other things. I have definitely reached out to alumni simply based on the company that they work at or have worked at when I was job searching. There are also alumni affinity groups for first-generation college students, alumni of color, and LGBTQIA2S+ alumni. If these groups represent you and your communities, I highly recommend connecting and meeting with alumni that are active in these networks. If you are part of an identity community that we don't have an affinity network yet, reach out. We would love to work with you to build the alumni community you want and need. Lastly, you can get involved as a volunteer when you're ready. Consider joining in on alumni board efforts. We are always looking for folks to join in our work, and we have committees that you can join as ad hoc members. We need your perspectives, experiences, and voices to help shape our community as we continue to grow and move into the future. Some of you might need a break from Reed right now, and that's totally okay. We will be here for you when you're ready. As you continue in the next phase of your life, embrace the skills and tools that you've honed over your Reed career, but also don't be afraid to ask for help. As newer members of the alumni community, I hope that you know that there are institutional resources and thousands of alumni devoted to helping you navigate what's next. On behalf of the Alumni Association and as your former president, congratulations again on your graduation from Reed. Thank you.
that I left, that I lost so long ago. All these years I have wondered, oh, when will I know? There's a way, there's a road that will lead me home. After wind, after rain, when the dark is done, as I wake from a dream in the gold of day, through the air there's a calling from far away. There's a voice I can hear that will lead me home. Rise up, follow me, come away is the call, with the love in your heart as the only song. There is no such beauty as where you belong. Rise up, follow me, I will lead you
It is my great honor to introduce the class of 2020 commencement speaker, Dr. Adonia Lugo. I want to note that getting to have Jin Young and Adonia here today means so much because Adonia was the chosen speaker for the class of 2020, and we're grateful that she and her family could be with us today. I had a wonderful opportunity to visit with Adonia this morning, and I will say she is inspiring. Make sure you go say hi to her. I want you to be flooded with students who will come to you for questions and advice, both of you. So, Dr. Lugo graduated from Reed in 2005 with a degree in anthropology. She went on to earn an MA and PhD in anthropology from the University of California, Irvine. She began investigating transportation, race, and space during her graduate studies at UC Irvine when she co-created the Los Angeles Open Street event Ciclavia and the organization known today as People for Mobility Justice. Dr. Lugo is Equity Research Manager at the UCLA Institute of Transportation Studies, a core organizer of the Untokening, and a recent appointee to the California Transportation Commission. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Adonia Lugo.
Good morning, Reed class of 2020. All right, I gotta get my speech situated here. I just wanna say I'm not normally a speech writer. I'm more of a slides and wing it kind of speaker. So I did something really special for you guys. I wrote a speech, and that means I now need to navigate all this papery stuff. So I am so glad to be here with you and friends and family gathered here to recognize and celebrate you today. It's just incredible what you have done over the last 2 years. In 2020, you completed your classes, you completed a thesis, and you received your degree under unprecedented circumstances. And since then, you've invented a way of living the uncertainty of postgraduate existence in a time of novel and uncertain conditions. What a few years it has been. I'm guessing you know more now than you did in 2020 about how you want to be in the world. But if you're like I was, 2 years post-Reed can still feel like you're waiting for a train to catch. Since you're here, since you valued this experience enough to come be part of this much belated ritual, I want to tell you, you're already on a pretty good track. I graduated 17 years ago, in 2005. My life after Reed is now as long as my life before Reed was. My experiences here and the friendships I made continue to define who I am. Reedy's freaked me out at first. When I got here in August 2001, 17 years old, I felt intensely homesick. I'm from a 1970s stucco subdivision in San Juan Capistrano, California, that was primarily home to Mexican immigrant families. There was a produce truck on the corner that smelled like guavas and other fruit. Every day I would hear the bells chiming on the carts of paleteros, ice cream vendors, as they rolled them down the sidewalk. I was used to feeling like an outsider at home because my family was different. Though my father was born in rural Mexico, my mother was a third-generation descendant of European settlers in Southern California. Ours was an English-speaking household, though my mom's also a fluent Spanish speaker. Social relations were confusing. I didn't fit into the segregation between whites and Mexicans that marked South Orange County. We talked about being cross-cultural at home, but nobody around me seemed interested in dismantling the barriers of race. I wanted to get away from it, and Reed was conveniently 1,000 miles away. The fresh, cold air of a fall day when I visited campus in 2000 confirmed my intuition that I desperately needed to come here. But upon moving into the radiant, heated, divided double I was assigned in Griffin, I again felt out of place. I was used to being solitary, and I felt overwhelmed and shy around all the revelry and the quad. Quickly, though, I adapted to my new surroundings. By the end of O Week, I felt connected to my dorm mates, simply because we lived together. And over time, I connected with some of the funniest and smartest people I know. For the next 4 years, Reed was my playground, where I could think creatively out loud. I played and played and played with friends, in class, in the library, and on the lawn. And then all of a sudden, it was over. Life after Reed felt anticlimactic, like I was just bumming around. So I decided to get a PhD. When I moved back to Southern California to start grad school, I went through culture shock again. I missed my friends, many of whom left Portland at the same time I did, like there was some kind of timer that went off at 2 years after graduating. Grad school was not quite what I'd expected. A lot of the readings were familiar from my Reed Anthro classes, so I felt less absorbed in the classroom than I did by trying to readjust to my home region. I expected to ride my bicycle a lot, like I did in Portland, but drivers were way scarier than they'd been up here. It made something I hadn't thought much about into an important symbol for me, and avoiding cars became part of an overall sustainability lifestyle I really dug my heels into. Then there was this aspect of myself that had been dormant during my time in Portland, a racialized identity of being Chicana, mixed race, mestiza. For the next few years, I ran on climate change urgency and another kind of fun on bicycles. In Los Angeles, I joined a multiracial activist culture and learned to call myself a woman of color. I used my PhD years to explore the intersections of race, class, and urban cycling, realizing that the racial segregation that shaped my childhood was also present in social movements for sustainable transportation and other environmental causes. Just because we're next to each other doesn't mean we're seeing the world the same way. This idea applied both to interactions in city streets and to efforts to change society. Because of inequality, there are multiple worlds happening simultaneously, in the same place, and in conflict for power. This framework for looking at human life was something I first encountered at Reed. Henri Lefebvre's book, The Production of Space, which I think was assigned in Paul Silverstein's urban anthropology class, laid out a somewhat opaque but also totally useful theory. Experts, like architects, planners, and engineers, imagine how spaces should be used, at the same time that buildings and cities are lived in by actual people, who then may imagine their lives in an even different way. I used this concept of the social production of space to explore the cultural valuing and devaluing of different modes of transportation, to understand how it was that a person could physically move through a street on a bicycle, perhaps even supported by physical infrastructure labeled for bicycling, but still get honked at or menaced by a passing motorist. The motorist has one idea of what the street is for. The person on a bike has another. Our bodies can get in the way of each other, and at high speeds, this has gruesome consequences that, sadly, our society takes for granted as collateral damage. And yet, despite how scary roadways can be, there are people who are forced by economic circumstances to get by on the margins and ride bikes in them. And beyond that, there are plenty of us who choose to ride because fossil fuels are killing the planet. What makes that possible? Relationships. That's what disrupts the flow of power. In 2008, I found out about a Colombian model for disrupting the power dynamic of urban space called a ciclovia. And I built relationships with people in LA who were deeply curious, like me, about the transformation that could occur when we played with open streets. In 2010, we held our first ciclovia event through central Los Angeles neighborhoods, opening about 10 miles of city streets by closing them to cars. Since then, it's become an LA institution. For me, ciclovia illuminated that culture and relationships operate as a sort of human infrastructure, stuff between us that tells us how to behave, similar to how red lights tell us to stop and green lights tell us to go. I started looking at human infrastructure as something as basic as a friend showing me a bike route so I wouldn't have to ride on busy streets. But over time, I started to see it operating beyond the space of transportation, as a way of understanding the strange reality that some people get racialized negatively and some positively, even though they don't necessarily talk about it. You can't always see human infrastructure the way you can physical infrastructure, which can make it even more powerful. That's what white privilege means to me, the idea that some people aren't supposed to talk about race while the rest of us live and breathe its burdens. In 1981, Cherry Moraga and Gloria Anzaldúa edited a collection of writings by radical women of color called This Bridge Called My Back. I think that really sums it up. After dealing with hostility in bike advocacy for talking about these issues, I decided to get out of it and think with many collaborators about a different approach to understanding transportation, what we call mobility justice. We put the emphasis on lived experiences. What makes people in the particular racialized, gendered, classed bodies we travel in feel safe or unsafe in streets and transportation systems? I've been called a rabble-rouser, but it's just the critical thinking I learned to use at Reed. Observe the situation, notice the blind spots, notice the elephant in the room, notice the social production of reality, who benefits from it and who doesn't. Notice and question power. My Reed friends, scattered across the country, haven't been in this work with me, and none of them are racialized the same way I am. But every time I'm with them, I again feel that sense of home, because they listen and understand me. Over the years, we've continued to share our intensity of study, spinning out theories about the world whenever we're together. These are the people I turn to when I have news, the people I want my daughter to know as she grows up. And since my husband is a Reedie, yes, I'm one of those people, She's got it on both sides. In retrospect, I have learned that my experience at Reed was not everyone's. Not everyone felt they were encased in a warm, soft cocoon, or they didn't appreciate that feeling. I can see ways now that I devalued myself when I was here, and would probably come to Reed today with a different set of expectations around consent and respect. There's no doubt, though, that my life here played a key role in my development. Someone who looks like me isn't supposed to be at home in white-centered spaces and also feel comfortable talking about racial segregation. In classes here, I would try out my hunches about the readings, thinking out loud and seeing where it went. Sometimes my heart would pound and my breathing would go ragged, like there was something inside me that wanted to get out, but that I was afraid to share. The responses I got from my professors encouraged my efforts, making me feel like I had something unique and valuable to contribute with my way of seeing the world. I continued speaking through my performance anxiety in conferences, and eventually started speaking through my anxiety on a blog and at professional conferences. Relationship between people, topics, places. This is the principle that has emerged as a key value from my Reed education. This is also, I have learned, an essential strategy for creating a different world than the one our imperialist, capitalist forebears imagined. People like my great-grandfather, a Norwegian immigrant who came to Los Angeles in the 1890s and squeezed what value he could out of stolen land. My friend, Angela Mooney D'Arcy, who's a Hashiman, I grew up in their ancestral territory, says that climate change started when the first European species landed on this continent. It's not just an ecological, chemical misalignment. It's the result of denying indigenous knowledges and practices, of stomping and taking, and surplus populations building old world models on alien soil. We need to let go of the systems that perpetuate exploitation and build systems that regenerate us. This is the idea called just transition, which I find to be a productive and hopeful model for future life. I didn't have this vocabulary when I got obsessed with bikes as a climate change response, but something about getting around, using my own body's power, seemed so grounded. As US residents, we are surrounded by overreactions to perceived insecurities, at the same time that our dangerous disconnect from the material effects of our overconsumption creates insecurities for people elsewhere. But is that what they're talking about on the news? What I witnessed during your college years and since has been too much attention given to white men disagreeing with other white men, and sometimes white women. All of us in the middle are mere cannon fodder in this narrative, the stuff the alphas disagree over. I feel fortunate to operate in circles where there are more complex beliefs about power, that we can heal and care for each other expansively, rather than fight over resources. I feel like too much of our collective attention in the last 6 years has gone to people locked in a hate death match. What about everything else? The amazing emergence of more solidarity than ever before. We have choices about where we put our attention, where we put our energy, where we invest in relationships, and whose world we believe in. Reed taught me that there is value in naming contradictions and imbalances, and I know from my years since then that you should do this work, even if you don't think you have the power to fix injustices or know in advance what solutions look like. Find yourself people you can embrace the new with, where you can heal or support healing for those who have been harmed by violent inequalities and dominance behavior. You will have choices to make about whose stories to believe, about what world you share, and who your we is. How you honor or deny the interconnectedness between us. And in the spirit of Reed that I most love, how will you bring joy and fun into transitioning our world into a more just place? For now, once again, congratulations from all of us.
We will now recognize the degrees of Bachelor of Arts. Madam President, I present for the recognition the class of 2020 graduates of the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
I hereby announce that these graduates have received the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all of the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Soha Ahmed. Charlotte Anderson. Monica Anderson. Maya Arigala. Caleb Aswad. Sadie Baker Wax. Laura Lee Bandy. Thomas Barr. Theodosia Bardashevich. Bailey Bast. Sophie Bender. Brendan Bender. Ezra Bergman. Claire Berlinger. Mercy Bhakta. Henry Blanchette. Eric Bettner. June Carter. Karina Elizabeth Saron. Lauren Angela Chacon. Nick Chayachakon. Amelia Chambliss. Dorothy Cheng. Emma Chomsky. Miles Cohen. Tamar Connor. Henry Rolla Conrad Poor. Rebecca Coster. Tess Cottrell. Beckett Cummings. Will Daniel. Jillian Gale De La Torre. JC Flora De La Torre. Cole Dembski. Josh Day. Sarah Diab. Raquel Diaz. Maddie Doak. Beatrice Drumright. Du Wenxin. Seth Dugan Knight. Eli Marcus Eastman. Altana Elings Haney. Nicole Emmons. Sophia Farmer. Duncan Figus. Ella Fisher. Saxton Fisher. Canyon Foot. Abbott Friesen Johnson. Jade Fung. Frank Gaunt. Stephanie G. Leah Hannah Gitter. Jacob Goldsmith. Saba Gudarzi. Isaac Gray. Sagan Green Horner. Hanifa Guevara. Miffy Guo Fei. Colin Guo. Olivia Hagan. Sarah Hansen. Aditya Hariharan. Arthi Haripriyan. Chelsea Hernandez McIntosh. Louise Hewitt. Rue Hogarth. Salma Rahman Huck. Kalamapono Ikeda. Robert Irvin. Claire Jellison. Hannah Jensvold. Max Johnson. Olivia Johnson. Zaki Kazan. David Carey. Ian Kidwell. Henry Killen. Ryan Kim. Mayaki Kimba. Duncan King. Cyrus Kirkman. Ryan Avilia Carrasco Kobler. Sophia Kungshao. Noah Koster. Nicole Pauline Kretikos. Ipsita Krishnamurthy. Anne Larkin. Erica Leaf. Miranda Leong Hussey. Jamie Lindner. Liu Wenchen. Thomas Malthouse. Sienna Marr. Savannah McBride. Crystal McCullough. Ollie McKnight. Claire Mylander Mashlin. Sage Mitchell. Eli Mizuk. Kyle Moncrief. Hannah Moran. Zoe Neff. Maya Nesbit Schnott. Shulav Neupane. Rory Omani. Sujin Jules O. Sean Owens. Michaela Park. Hadley Parrish Cotton. Matthew Parson. Lonnie Patzman. Asher Payton. Jerry Peña Martinez. Annie Peng Jiajing. Lynn Peterson. John Brooks Dana Petrinovich. Lillian Pham. Zia Polis. Annapurna Post Leon. Gabriel Pricing. Sky Price. Lillian Chi. Dennis Quaintance. Kashaf Qureshi. Giorlando Ramirez. Josh Reese. Meredith Riley. Tack Robinson. Nat Rubin. Dylan Russell. Raina Sackstetter. Evan Samuel. Ashley San Miguel. Gray Sakwi. Jansu Sarach. Nell Scherfling. Sierra Schlott. Laurel Schuster. Ezra Schwartz. Janet Sebastian Coleman. Shay Seary. Maor Shapiro. Shi Kai Yan. Lara Simonetti. David Snower. Noah Solnick. Kira Spengler. Sarah Strand. David Tomasz Paris. Sol Taylor Brill. Aidan Terran. Ben Thomas. Danielle Destiny Sanchez Thompson. Talene Tui Tien Tron. Eileen Vert. Avantika Vivek. Wang Jingyi. Noah Was. Nick Weig. Christopher Wolf. Xanthia Woland. Victoria Wagner Woods. Gwen Wright. Livia Xu. Martin Ying. Carl Young. Julia Yuan. Tatiana Thankaho Lugo. Anton Zavarotny. Maddox Zhang. Eric Zhang. Maham Zia. Madam President, I present for recognition the 2020 graduate of the Master of Arts in Liberal Studies.
Hereby announce that this graduate has received the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies with all of the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Ben Salzberg. I now invite your applause for the class of 2020.